Hey, super dope. So before the episode starts, just a quick little update for those who've already heard it on Patreon. A couple of extra little pieces of news came out. I just wanted to throw up at the front about New York Comic Con on October 12th. First, I almost said San Diego. Then I almost said Rhode Island because that's where I live. And then New York is the actual one. They announced a little bit more information about who's going to be at that Dragon Ball panel on the 12th. It's going to be hosted by a friend of the show, Monica Rial. Ian St. Clair, the voice of Whis, will be there. And most notably, they're sending a producer from Dragon Ball, which is Akio Ioku. Here's the thing. Later in this episode, me and Raysean talk about how Akio Ioku actually just left Shueisha to go start his own company called Capsule Corp Tokyo. So I didn't think he was quite back to working with Dragon Ball as like a property yet, because he just split from them in, I think, August. So him being the dude to be announced at this panel we're going to see on the 12th with some sort of announcement. It's curious, I don't know. Anyway, hope you enjoy the episode. You could have had it early if you were on Patreon, but you're not. Are you? Also, I had some audio issues in this one. Wrong microphone selected on the input. I'm a dummy. So my mic doesn't sound great, but it's not unlistenable. But just figured I'd get the warning out the way up front. Okay. Dragon Ball Magic. Let's talk about it. Welcome into Dragon Ball Super Dope. My name is Kyle. Thank you for checking this out. We have a couple of things to talk about today. Primarily the rumors, we'll say, the rumored leaks, or they're leaks, but they're only rumors, who knows, about Dragon Ball Magic. That's going to be the majority of this conversation. I have lots of thoughts on that. But first, we're going to do a quick run-through of Chapter 97 for Dragon Ball Super Cell Max Rampages. I'm joined today by my brother Raysean. Raysean, how you doing?
Doing great.
Great
to be alive, man. Talk about the chapter and some new Dragon Ball news. That sounds like an amazing podcast.
I hope so, dude. I hope so. I did try to think to myself, like, I'm so tired of being negative on Dragon Ball. Do I just talk about the positive stuff here? I mean, you guys know I'm going to be talking about, like, spoiler or leaks or rumors in the second half of this episode. And it revolves around people that, for the most part, I kind of can't stand in some instances. So I'm gonna try to keep it positive and keep it optimistic. All right. Let's talk about 97 first.
Chapter 97.
Chapter 97. Cell Max approaches. I mean, we're still going through this movie retelling, and it is taking an inappropriate amount of time, like just way too long. We were just talking before we hit record. It looks like we have at least 2, probably 3 chapters left to round out the rest of this movie. That said, like, I'm super done, dude. I'm over it. I've been over it since like the start. That said, though, at least this one was kind of fun. I like the goofy stuff with Goten and Trunks, the failed fusion, some of the fun group dynamics of like Bulma just taking a shit on Krillin for being such a little baby chicken shit. You have any thoughts on 97? What you think?
My chapter 97, it was a fun chapter. I like seeing some of the dynamics between the Gammas and Kids Trunks and Goten, and I liked the revelation that they were kind of based off of them too. Because this is something you don't get in the movies, because you get to see is it Dr. Edo?
Hito, yeah.
Hito, you get to see Dr. Hito go against them in the beginning, and you get to kind of see like their little rivalry in the beginning, but you don't get to see that in the movie. So you kind of think he get the Gammas off of just some other heroes, but he actually bases it off of them. I love seeing their little teamwork when they came together to fight the fight Cell Max, and also like the fact that they were trying to hold them off, so like Piccolo and Gohan can kind of like recharge from their fight. And then like I love every moment. It just seemed like they had to feel like they had to jump in, like, are we sure we should just leave it to them? How long? They haven't been training for how long? And the shit was just fucking hilarious. And I love the fact the Gammas just kind of ran in there and started fighting with them, and they basically all kind of teamed well, and they had their little moment when they did their little superhero stances and shit. I think that is so funny that they all love that shit. I think it's funny that we still haven't had a Gohan, like he hasn't jumped in there and done some shit either. So that's kind of funny to me. I would love to see the original Saiyaman actually come in and make an appearance or some shit. What you said earlier about there being 2 more chapters, 2 to 3. Well, we know exactly that one chapter is going to probably focus on one of the Gammas dying.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to use that to bring in also the transformation. So we know at least those 2 things going to be chapters. What happens in between that is if they trying to scratch this shit. That's basically what it is.
For sure. While we're here, in terms of the chapter beats they still have to hit, or the beats they have to hit within the next couple chapters to round up the story, they have to have Gamma 2 sacrifice himself, die. Piccolo has to get his ass whooped a little bit. Gohan has to transform. He has to win, obviously. And then you have the post-movie stuff where it's like, oh, Daddy, you look so scary.
Flies.
Yeah, Pan flies, all that. So I assume next month you'll probably get a chapter concluding with maybe like around the midway point, you have Gamma 2 make the sacrifice. The end of it, maybe Piccolo is getting his ass whooped. Then the next one, 99, you have Gohan do his beast transformation, final fight stuff. Chapter 100 is the end of this arc, maybe. And transitioning into the next arc, I would have to assume. But you did mention right up front, my favorite thing about this chapter, and I said it to you and Hayden in the review we did last month, was Toyotaro and me are very much on the same page. And I think everybody was when they said, it's a superhero movie. Gohan's the main character in it. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to see some Gohan Great Saiyaman shit. And then we never did. And just the way that he's tied the little prequel arc into this arc to have not Saiyaman directly, but these 2 Saiyaman versions influence his eventual creations. Like, it's the perfect little connective tissue to make the story make that much more sense. I don't always love Toyotaro, but goddamn, would I blow him for this decision? Because how beautiful is that pulled off? Like, he still respects the creator's original vision of it and not having the Great Saiyaman directly be involved, but somehow manages to make Goten and Trunks be like the conduit to that spirit and that energy, and that's what results in the Gammas. It's so fucking cool, dude. I also like that they were ballsy enough to change it up enough in this chapter to not just have them be 2 schmucks who show up in their street clothes, but like they show up with their watches, they're ready to go, they bust out the fusion dance. I love Gotenks in this chapter as well. I mean, he does the same shit in the movie pretty much, where he decides to fight despite the flubbed fusion, but still gets his ass absolutely whooped. And then the Ginyu Force poses, that's the kind of energy we got between the 4 of them. And honestly, I'm here for it. This has been the most fun chapter in at least probably 2 or 3 months. But oh my god, am I ready for this shit to be over, man? So ready.
Man, just watching the Gammas, to me, it's hard for me to think, is Dr. Hedo even really evil? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just funny.
Yeah, he's not. He just, did some evil shit for a paycheck. And you know what? If you think about it, what's like the worst, shittiest job you've had? Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You are doing something mildly evil for a paycheck. We can all relate to Dr. Hedo having to sell out some morals and all that to, get the bag. So respect. He still managed to do it on his own terms. He did it his way, to quote Frank Sinatra. My way, to quote Frank Sinatra? Who cares? I wish both Gammas were sticking around, though. It does kind of bum me out that the goofy one of the 2 is going to be the one who isn't around anymore. Like, he's funny. I like funny. Be funny.
Do you feel like, okay, this is a good question. Do you feel like you have related more to the Gammas through the manga or through the movie?
I loved them in the movie. They were one of the best parts of the movie for me. So I do feel like their intentions or like their train of thought is expressed better in manga, which is just because it's a different medium. Like, you don't have the benefit of you got to get it all out on the page to like really express truly what these characters are either doing, what their intentions are, what their motivations are. I feel like the whole thing's translated better to manga, even though I can't fucking stand to be watching it. I realize those 2 things kind of go in opposition. I wish we just got a new story. I wish we didn't have to go through this in manga. I already watched it on the screen, but I do think the story comes out better on the page. versus on the screen. 2 reasons. 1, fuck that CGI animation style, not for me. And 2, it's just it's a condensed version of, you can build stuff out a little bit further with on the page versus on the screen. So all that said, I do love to see them animated. I love to see them in live action, but I feel like they're better written, I guess, when they're being written, if that makes sense.
I get you saying, because I think I like learning more about them through the manga. Like seeing them on the live action was cool, but them in the manga, I like the manga version of them a little bit better. I do wish we would get a new story. I'll have to probably rate this chapter out of 10, 6 or 7. It was doable. It was readable. It wasn't like anything like spectacular happened. I thought honestly that Totoro would probably lean more towards showing Vegeta and Broly's fight, more or less than what's going on with this. But
you mean Goku and Broly's fight? You mean? Goku
Vegeta. Yeah, Goku Vegeta.
Flipped around all those fucking names too. Yeah, I wish they would cut back to that every once in a while. But also, like, I remember when I heard about the leaks for this movie, when all like the plot beats came out, and I read that, it's like, yeah, they cut back to Goku and Vegeta. It's like Goku and Vegeta are gonna fight in this movie. This is nuts. And then it's like they cut back to it for like a minute, like 3 times throughout the movie. And that's why those character models look so janky and shitty and just stiff and blah, blah, blah. They look so bad. But I remember reading that and just thinking, like, that's the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like the most Dragon Ball joke I've ever heard. You guys are going to have a fight that we've all wanted to see for like 5 plus years. You're going to have it happen in a movie that's about to come out, brand new movie. And it's going to happen pretty much all off screen and none of us are going to get to see it. Sick, dude. That's so sick. It reminds me, brief Buffy rant incoming, it reminds me of this episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the 3rd season, centered around the character Xander, who's like the normal dude in the group. He's not very cool, no superpowers, but he gets like a really cool old car. And he's like, I'm the car guy now. I have like a 1950s muscle car. And like, he just gets into his own like little hijinks with like a group of like small vampires or whatever. Not even vampires, they were zombies actually. And like in the background of that scene, he like goes to Buffy and his other friends for help. And he's like, guys, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to go to. And they're like fighting this epic, crazy demon out of the hellmouth, apocalypse shit going on. And it's like, this is like the biggest, craziest demon that they've ever had on the show. And they're not even going to show them fighting it or what it's about. They're just going to keep cutting back to this stupid little goofy little kid shit over here with Xander and his fucking car and his zombie buddies. Like, that's the energy that the Goku Vegeta off-screen fight has, in my opinion. I don't know. That was a long rant. Sorry I got there, though. Superhero on the page, way better than on the screen. Although the screen, it was fun to watch for like 2 hours, I guess. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on, unless you have any other final thoughts for 97.
No, the only thing I was going to add on, it's not even about 97, but I feel like just kind of knowing Dragon Ball and sometimes anime and how they just like to get all the money out of situations they want. I wouldn't be surprised in the future if they made an episode or a movie on just that fight between Vegeta and Goku, because I feel like that would be a nice little, especially for the fans.
It would be cool if they did that for us. If they end up coming back with a super series in the future at some point, and they adapt the movies into the anime, which presumably they would. I don't know. They have enough manga material. Lord fucking knows. I've only been making this podcast for fucking 6 years now, and 5 of them Super has been off the air. You've got enough material. What are we doing, dude? That would be cool to have that though in an anime version of the show. All right, so that's chapter 97, MAX Rampages.
Rumor has it.
That's how you say it, right? Rampages.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. You want to sing me? You want to sing me an Adele song right now? Is that what you were about to do?
Rumor has it. No, I thought that would be a nice little transition.
Ooh, rumor. You have to do the rumor has it. I'll do the oohs. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh.
Right. Rumor has it.
Ooh.
I don't know. The more after
all you have to say is rumor has it like 4 fucking times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh.
Like, rumor has it.
Ooh.
Rumor has it.
Ooh.
Rumor has has it? Something she said like that.
What I'm leaving you for. Yeah, that first
That's exactly.
that second Adele album is fucking fire. Every single
Oh,
song,
amazing.
so good, so goddamn
Made
good. I'm
a,
not proud
a
enough to admit that.
period of my time was Adele. I don't know. I can't remember exactly when, but when I first heard that shit, it started from Rolling in the Deep, and I was sitting back like, "There's a bitch just randomly singing songs like that. Like, this shit is amazing. Like, come on."
I laid
But
so
you-
much fucking pipe to that album, dude. I got so much pussy to that album. All right, ready? We're here to talk about rumors, though.
Rumors.
Sort of rumors, okay? Some people hit me up in the last few days and they're like, we'll wait for the fact checker, Kyle. All right, I think that's what Roberto said to me earlier today.
Oh,
We'll wait for
check that.
fact checker. I got real bad news for you guys, all right? I can't fact check shit on any of this until October 12th when an announcement comes out at San Diego Comic-Con from Toei Animation. Then I can fact check it, okay? In the meantime, this is all rumors and speculation from people who have spotty track records. They've been right sometimes, they've completely fucking whiffed and lied other times, and then tried to cover their shit up, all right? So primarily, this comes from 2 Twitter sources and has been confirmed by friend of the show, Danny Geekdom. I don't lump Danny into this shit. Danny said what he said back in 2018, whatever. He seems convinced that this is real. And for him to report on it the way that he did, it sounds like maybe he saw some shit from one of these sources that make him think that it's real. Okay? But DBS Hype and DBS Chronicles, that's right, I'm still referring to him as DBS Chronicles, not Super Chronicles or whatever fucking shit he tried to do to change his Twitter handle. Like, when you have the name DBS Chronicles get shit on as much as this kid has over the last year, I don't blame him for switching his Twitter handle, but I'm not going to call him Super Chronicles because that's fucking stupid, and we all know you as DBS Chronicles. Anyway, the 2 of them came out a few days back. I think it was Sunday evening, and reported that the big announcement at San Diego Comic-Con from Toei Animation, it's going to be October 12th is the day they're doing their announcement, right? Said it. I said it on the last episode that it does seem to be in relation to the anime or an anime, a Dragon Ball anime. But we don't know what that means. Maybe it's a Super 2 announcement. I guess we'll see. They come out and say that it is going to be announced that there's going to be a new Dragon Ball web exclusive anime. So by that they mean it'll be on streaming services only. This will not be airing on Fuji TV as all other Dragon Ball animes have to this point. I don't think Heroes has, but I could be wrong. Who gives a shit about Heroes? This is going to be full-length episodes, probably in that 22 to 24-minute realm, probably made for a half hour worth of television. Although Danny heard it could be potentially have some longer episodes, like 40-minute-ish episodes. It's called Dragon Ball Magic, which, how do you feel about that name, Raysean? Dragon Ball Magic.
It's kind of weird. I guess they're kind of going to another realm of Dragon Ball, which, I mean, it's not bad because you have demons who technically use magic. So it would be interesting if they're doing more demon.
For the pitch for people who haven't heard about it yet, before you tell them what the demon stuff, because I guess it kind of makes sense when you think about I should have told you what the show's about first. That's my point. Goku gets wished back to being a little kid alongside Kaio Shin. Shin from the Boo arc. You know what I mean? You know that guy? He showed up and everyone was like, oh, I bet he's mad powerful. And then he was a little bitch. And he was like, holy shit, you guys just fucked up Yakon and all those weird, useless assholes in Babidi's spaceship. That's wild. You guys must be so powerful. Him and Goku, they're getting wished back to be little itty bitty baby kids. And they get wished back to being a kid by a demon, presumably in the same ilk of like Dabura. So you're going to go through some kind of demon realm or whatever. They're going to have to fight a demon to become adults again. And Goku and Shin will have 2 new characters joining their party. One is a boy, one is a girl. One will be carrying a sword, one will be carrying a gun. So automatically has some Chrono Trigger vibes to me. What do you think?
No, I just thought of something. And why, when you say Kaio Shin, That throws me off a little
Yeah,
bit
I know.
because I
That's
always
why I
think
explained who it was.
Supreme Kai. That's what, and it took me a
Supreme
second.
Kai is Kaio Shin.
I'm just saying that's the wing that would be like Supreme Kai. That's like when I was thinking, I was like, who? What other name do I know him by? Like, and then
This
I was
is
like,
the problem, bro. Because we've been doing reviews on Raysean show for people who just listen to Super Dope. Go check out Raysean show. The last few episodes, we've done a few Dragon Ball episodes, but there's a couple of similar sounding characters in the arcs that we just reviewed. Right? We did 22nd Budokai, Sudu Senin, the Crane Hermit, Tien's master. In the dub, he's known as Shen, Shen.
yep,
Right? And then we just did the 23rd tournament the other day with Piccolo versus Goku. In that arc, Kami, he takes the body of a person, and in Japanese, that person's name or the person he enters as is Shen, Shen. The same name as the dub name for Sudu-sen and the Crane Hermit, okay? So those two have clashed in our brains for the last two episodes we did on RGAP. But now we're talking about Shin. Some people just call him Shin, which I think it makes me think of Shen, i.e., I realize it's a letter off, right? But like I usually just say Kaio Shin because Kaio, whatever, that's what they call him in Japanese. Kaio Shin-sama. And then you know him as Supreme Kai, right? But then what the fuck does the old man Kai get called when he gets busted out that sword? Is it Dai Kaio Shin? No, Dai Kaio Shin's that dude who's from who lived in Majin Buu, right?
Oh, I can't think. What do they call him? Elder Kai?
That's probably what they call him, yeah, in the dub at least. Dai Kaio Shin is the guy inside of Majin Buu, that's right. And then let me just see what Elder Kai looks like in this Google search real quick. Like, the names, man. The names. Old Kai is what they call him, according to this Dragon Ball Wiki. And then there's a young Elder Kai. I guess he's East Supreme Kai of Universe 7. I'm not going down. How about Elder Kai in Japanese? I'm just kidding, ladies. I'll go down every time. Ro Kaio Shin is what it's called. Old God of the Kings of the World. Old Kai, Ro Kaio Shin. Okay. Glad we just went down that stupid ass rabbit hole. But anyway, Kaio Shin's going to be in the series of Goku. Weird pairing of characters. Just going to say it.
I'm just gonna say Dragon Ball uses the name Shen a lot because it's also another
Shenlong. How about that? Fuck.
Shenlong, but also it's a character where he learns this move. Like I can't think it's called the Star Fire Dragon something. He learns, and that dude's name is Shen too. So it just be throwing me. It sometimes be throwing me off. I'd be like, oh geez.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider when you're using the name Shin or Shen in this show. Shin
20 times. Like you just can't think of something else. It's like, when we gonna name him? Shin.
Yeah, 26 letters in the American alphabet. We're only going to use the same 4 in slightly different combinations. All right, so based off of that premise, I also wanted to say real quick before I forgot to mention it, the lead animation designer on this show, because I think a lot of people are wondering what the show's going to look like. Is it going to look like the 3D animation we got in Superhero? Is it going to look like the old Yamamuro stuff? Is it going to look like somewhere in between with the Shintani stuff? The person who's going to be doing the lead animation on this is called, and I don't know this shit, I just wrote it down. I don't know shit about animation. My eyes don't work that well. This person is Katsuyoshi Nakusuru. Okay. He is the dude who did the original character design for Super Saiyan 4. Okay, so a lot of people are already desperate to tie this show to Dragon Ball GT. A lot of people are like, oh, it's Dragon Ball GT 2. Goku's a kid again. And they brought back the dude who made the Super Saiyan 4 design, which I think is interesting. More relevant to what we more recently talked about, he was one of the lead animators in the 22nd Budokai and was like one of the main animators on the Goku versus Tien fight in that arc that we just reviewed very recently on your show, which is such amazing choreography and such a cool aesthetic. It's not quite Dragon Ball Z level already. It's still very fluid in animation, and the choreography is more based off of or I should say the animation is more based off of clever choreography as opposed to then just being like super fast, super strong, throwing the same 6 punches on a fucking loop for 55 goddamn seconds like Dragon Ball Z is. So I'm excited to know that this is the dude who's going to be in charge of it. What do you think of everything I just said to you about this shit?
Well, what you just said tells me they're probably gonna downscale the power to show more like basic, like hand-to-hand martial arts type of fighting. That's what I'm kind of getting from that, which will
Interesting.
be a little different. Which
I mean,
will be
he still is the dude who made Super Saiyan 4, though. So, like, maybe not. I feel like you're onto something, though, because that's one big thing in GT. It's like, I'm a kid. I can't be a Super Saiyan. Wah! You know what I mean? So, I mean, at least I think that's how it kind of went. And then after he got Super Saiyan 4, he somehow, I don't know, he got to the event. Whatever. We're not here to talk about shitty ass Dragon Ball GT. We're here to talk about fucking stupid ass idea Dragon Ball GT Volume 2. Valid point. Maybe they do scale shit down because they're kids now, though.
I do think. I hope it's not a GT.0. I really hope this is just like they just threw this out there just to get everybody thinking about this while they actually planning Super 2. That's what I'm hoping, because you have so much great content on that I want to see. Who the fuck is writing this stuff? Like, why like who's coming up with this part? Because this
Interesting.
is like,
You should ask that, Ray, because I did watch a good chunk of Danny's stream the other day, posted by our friend Irv Dog, social media Dragon Ball fucking connoisseur. He and I follow each other on the socials, so he clipped like a 6-minute chunk of Danny's thing the other day, and I watched it. The person who's coming up with a lot of these scripts, all right, maybe not directly writing the scripts, but they have literal input on every script that is being made on this fucking show. It's been rumored to last as long as 15 episodes, and it's also been rumored to last for as long as 1 year. So maybe potentially 50 to 52 episodes, unless, take a couple weeks off. Akira Toriyama is going to be more directly involved. Now, again, this is a company line. I think this is what they tell us, so that way we'll buy it up. They've said, it's a canon thing. It happens between the end of Z and Majin Buu in that same time frame as Super. They say Toriyama is directly helping with the scripts and has input on the story direction. I think it's a company line and it's all bullshit. We'll buy it anyway, all right? But they slap
it's like made in China. It's made in China. They slap it on everything over there.
It's made by Toriyama's executive assistant who works remote in China. But that's who's going to be helping make the story. The Dragon Ball Room and Akira Toriyama. We didn't talk about Akio Aoku leaving the Dragon Ball Room, but he recently
probably was like, I'm done with this shit. Y'all keep talking about the same. Oh, we bringing it back now. I'm like, I need to pay my bills. I can't do this shit.
I didn't plan on talking about this shit right now because I didn't write it down, but I realized this is probably a little bit of a part of the puzzle, right? Akio Aoku was like the big producer, one of the big producers on the last couple of Dragon Ball movies. He just left to go form his own company. Do you know what he called this company, Ray?
What?
He called this company Capsule Corporation Tokyo. It's going to be
hilarious.
Yeah, it is fucking hilarious. Like, what are you going to do? Sue me for that? It's not Dragon Ball. Capsule Corporation Tokyo. It's a production company, and he left and basically told Bird Studios, Shueisha, Toei, everything. He's like, hey, we want to make Dragon Ball. All the future anime, all the future movies, we got first dibs. We're making it. And everyone's like, bro, you just left us. And now you're going to say what we're going to do with the future of one of our biggest IPs of all time? And we're just going to give it to you because you were the guy who worked here for the last 25, 30 years? Fuck you. So I do kind of wonder if like he saw the plan for this Dragon Ball Magic and was like, this is bullshit. This isn't nostalgia, because he's the dude who like has been nostalgia baiting wicked hard since Super came back. He's the guy who's like, let's bring back Broly, let's bring back Frieza, let's bring back this person. Like, I bet, I do wonder if he's like, we want to try to do a new thing, slightly new thing. I realize we've been calling it GT 2.0 as a kind of a joke, but it's not meant to be like GT. Maybe it's borrowing a couple of minor ideas, but it's not meant to be a continuation of that or any kind of retelling of that. There's not going to be Super Baby. There's not going to be Android 17. But I do wonder if Akio Aoku was like, you going to do a new thing? What are you, fucking stupid? 30-year-old white dudes in America don't like new things. They like nostalgia. I'm going to my own fucking company. Peace. Like, I don't know. I wanted to throw that out.
Then I bet you it's like y'all gonna keep telling these people we throwing this shit at the end of the Boo arc. Bitch, how long do they think we think this shit is? Now, like, so now you telling us now he's going back in time. So this part of the timeline now is apparently he went back in time. So is this before he met the God of Destruction? But like, it's like where are we pitting this? Like,
that's a great question.
Can we just fucking just move on?
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole new storyline. Just you don't even have to pick Goku with it. I'm just if y'all gonna make these like alternate little Dragon Ball stories, just take another fucking character and do it. Why you gotta keep taking Goku and making him a child? Like it makes no sense. I feel like you're digressing his character development that you're trying to give him. Then you bring him back to a kid. Then we see him as a kid. Then if y'all do bring Super back, now you're trying to make us see him as an adult again. It's like, just use Gohan. Gohan, Goten, Trunks. You have a whole other like list of characters that you should be developing because we know nothing about them. And it's crazy because they've been there since the beginning of Z and they're still like, what does Tien really do? Like, I guess y'all did show us that he like maybe a master at a thing, but other than that, like, what does he like really do? Like, it's just kind of. I would love to see all these other stuff y'all could do, but won't do. Like, yeah. I mean, like it's crazy to me.
So it's gonna fly in the face of what I just said about Akio Yoku leaving because of no nostalgia. But this kind of ties into what I think maybe they could be going for. I don't know, man. When Z went to GT and they turned Goku into a kid, it was a very intentional decision. It was made for the purposes of trying to recapture the essence and the feeling of what the original Dragon Ball felt like, with Goku being a kid, him paired up with another fighter, him paired up with a tech kind of situation, and him being in outer space. I guess it's a little bit different. Guy, girl, Trunks and Pan in that one versus Bulma and Yamcha in OG Dragon Ball. The decision just revolves around Goku as a little kid. It's funny as fuck. Okay, I would contend that Goku as a character has not made nearly as much character progression as some people might think. Sure, he's gotten more mature as a fighter and a martial artist, but as a person, he's still most of the time that stupid, goofy little kid. And I think people seeing that as an adult make them go, "Oh, Super Goku's so stupid, blah, 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 it's annoying." So I think it solves a couple problems for them. One, turn him to a kid. You can just continue to let Goku be Goku and have people have a good time with how stupid he is as a stupid little kid. That's when he's most enjoyable to me, at least as a character. But two, it's doing almost the same exact thing. Again, this isn't going to be on television, but it's going to be on all major streaming services. Presumably, it'll be on Crunchyroll. Hopefully, we don't have to wait for a dub or anything. Curious to see if they even would dub it, but sending Goku back to childhood gives them the opportunity to appeal to a younger audience. This is not going to be an anime that's meant to fill the void of Dragon Ball Super 2 or Tooper or whatever the fuck we're calling that non-existent anime going on 5.5 years now. It's not meant to fill that void. This is meant to appeal to a younger fan base and pull them into Dragon Ball, I think, and hopefully have them go back and watch it all from the beginning. One thing I've read about a lot of fans the show is intended for, is how I'll say it, which are 10, 12-year-old kids in Japan, presumably mostly boys. A lot of them like Dragon Ball Super as it's on the air, and they got into it, and they're like, Dragon Ball's fucking sick, but they've never seen the old shit in a lot of cases. They've never seen the original Dragon Ball. They've never seen all of Dragon Ball Z. They've heard about it. They've seen some clips maybe. The internet exists, so they can probably piece some shit together, but they've never watched it in its entirety. They just become fans because it's, it's Goku and it's awesome and it kicks ass. Being able to lower the threshold, both in terms of the character's age, so you appeal to a younger audience, but in terms of the stakes. This sounds like it's going to be some goofy ass shit. Them trying to become adults again, beat a couple demon bad guys, travel around to a few places, have a dude with a gun, have a girl with a sword. Cool. This could be an opportunity for them to appeal to the younger audience. And this is why I've been taking so long to get here, because I've been trying to figure out how it works, I guess. But it could be a potential to relaunch the entire franchise in like a different sort of animation style that's much more simple and scaled down, and they just go back to the beginning and retell all of Dragon Ball from the very beginning. It's always bothered me that DBZ Kai exists and that there's not some kind of Kai version of OG Dragon Ball. And I think it would make a lot of sense for them as a franchise in their native Japan to go back and redo it all and just I'll watch it. I've seen the story a fucking 100 times. I'll still watch the new versions of it. That was a long rant, Ray. I don't know. Do you have any reaction to what I just said?
I probably will rewatch like Dragon Ball redone. I don't know. I think as a fan, for me per se, I want new content, but I want new content that makes sense. So I'll give it a try because I love Dragon Ball, and if they tell me it's connected, I will accept that and try to make it work.
Accept that and move on.
And try to watch it, but in my head, I feel like it's gonna have that GT feel where it's like, yeah, we're their kids, and it's just gonna feel. I feel like from a fan that's been with Dragon Ball for so long, we're like rewatching them try to redo the series. It's just, it just never works. It's just because I've seen so much of it. Like if I was a new fan, maybe, but then to me, I feel like how anime is now from like watching like different series other than Dragon Ball. I don't know. I feel like to redo I don't know how old Dragon Ball would compete now. I mean, if you reanimate it and everything, I guess yes, but I also feel like it's just so many other stories y'all can do. We could be going to where Kaba's at. Why we like he's already a young Saiyan. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
I think they do it for the sake of longevity of their shit. If they wanted to go back to the original Dragon Ball, we've talked about it before. It's 153 plus 291. We'll exclude Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball Super is 131. Raysean, think fast. What's 153 plus 291 plus 131?
It's in the 500 something.
It's a fucking lot, dude. I can't do that math either. Yeah. But if they could fucking do that, like that's 500 episodes worth of shit if they really wanted to reanimate it. I guess if you cut it down to Kai, what's Kai? Like 162 or something? I don't know. Mm-hmm. 191.
But I'm not even a big fan of Kai.
Neither am I, honestly. Because you know what? It bothered me. I mean, I really wasn't into Dragon Ball at the time in terms of like keeping up with the actively released shit because I was like in my teenage years and early 20s and getting pussy. Now that I'm 35 and I don't do that no more, I just sit around by myself all day in my bedroom waiting for the day to end and the next one to begin. I would probably watch a Dragon Ball Z Kai, but if they did an OG Dragon Ball version of it, which it confused me why they never did it. Like that's not. It's probably not more relevant to the story that's going on currently. Like Dragon Ball Z shit is way more relevant to what's going on.
We know why they didn't do it.
Why?
It's the content. It's the content and Dragon Ball is it. If that show is literally, if you take away almost everything and censor it, I don't even know if that show's good.
You could write it in a way where it's a little bit more modern if you wanted to, but like there's some pervy ass shit that happened in Dragon Ball Z and in Dragon Ball Super. That shit got banned in Argentina for a minute. Dragon Ball Super did.
Because it's crazy stuff in Super?
Yeah, dude, there's a whole last episode where Master Roshi's intention to train for the Tournament of Power is to like fight against a girl and like not be tempted to go back and rape her behind the shed. Like that's literally the fucking it's like the B plot of that episode. So I think it's Tien's training for real and Roshi's training in the background trying not to get a hard on and rape some good looking girl. Like that shit literally was banned in the country of Argentina when that came out. Like that was only a fucking 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think Japan's culture is nearly as locked up and fucking sanctified as what we are here in America, thanks to Christianity. Bet you Argentina fucking loves Christianity.
But that's the main thing. Are they just trying to sell it in Japan, or are they trying to sell it globally? And where's the money at? And I don't know. I feel like that's part of the main reason, because it's like, damn, we're gonna have to censor. We're gonna have to really go back and rewrite this shit. Like, you know what I mean? And if I'm Toriyama, I'm not. You're not doing that. That is my shit.
He wouldn't be doing that.
Like,
Maybe they redo
maybe
it after
he might do it. He might let them do it, depending on like the number they throw on the table.
Yeah.
Because I think at this point, Toriyama's like, I'm just saving it for the kids now. I don't even need it no more. Toriyama probably can walk in anywhere and like a cop, they'll just give him shit. Man, just take some pretzels. Like, just do it, man. You are a legend.
That's probably right, man. One last thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap this up is a couple of content creators in our circle. By content creators, I'm not talking about DBS Hyper Chronicles. I actively avoid them. Geekdom acted like this has been confirmed. I assume he saw something that makes him think it's real. If not, these three are going to be... You're going to look like fucking fools if this doesn't come true. I assume, like, there's so many crazy details to this story that it feels like it has to be real, okay? If somebody fabricated these details and leaked them so they could get 10 days worth of really good social media press, I guess, one, good on you, but like also I hope you get burned the fuck alive at the stake and your fucking family hates you and that a car runs you over afterwards. I hope those things for you if you just made this shit up to get clicks for 10 days leading up to Comic-Con. If that's who you are, DBS Chronicles, seriously, choke on every single dick that's ever existed. But I think it could be real based off of what Danny said. I trust Danny much more than those fucking two idiots, okay? That's what I'll start with. Toei made an announcement a few hours ago on their social media that said at Comic-Con, they're going to be unveiling a brand new Goku balloon. I assume that means the balloon that they'll use in the Thanksgiving Day parade. I don't know if that means it'll be like prominently displayed at Comic-Con or if they're just going to release an image of it at Comic-Con. But I hope it's a Kid Goku balloon in the spirit with this rumored series, Dragon Ball Magic, because Kid Goku is Pete Goku. I'm actually I'm trying not to get excited about it one way or the other. Like, too excited, too hot, too cold, until it's actually announced and it's confirmed, because I refuse to do this shit over rumors. However, the Dragon Ball fandom writ large, they do exactly the opposite of what I just outlined. And we've had friends, Black Boma, shout out, who are, hard up to make content, who are like, Dragon Ball Magic is already hated by the fans like 24 hours after it's announced. First of all, it's not announced. Second of all, why'd you make this? Really? You saw a couple of pissed off people in the comments and you're going to make an entire social media narrative out of this? She's not the only one, though. Googling Dragon Ball Magic about an hour ago gave me a handful of articles about how the Dragon Ball fandom hates the idea, blah, 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 all this shit. So before we wrap the episode, I just want to say, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in this audience who does not like the premise of Dragon Ball Magic. I'm wait and see on it. We'll see. I'll have fun. We'll watch it on this show. We'll talk about it for sure. It seems more interesting to me than Dragon Ball Super Heroes or Super Dragon Ball Heroes. Super Dragon Ball Hero. It seems infinitely more interesting to me than that fucking premise. The fact that it's full episodes, full narratives, brand new story. I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. Should it be proven to be real? Okay. But to have the narrative be, and the narrative reinforced by people who just need some shit to write about that has Dragon Ball in the title, to be like, people already hate it. This is going to be the worst fucking thing in the world. I just want to say to every single one of you, the writers of CBR, comicmovie.com, Otaku, Nerdist, friends like Boma, friends like Herb friends like Geekdom, whoever wants to really try to heap on the negative narrative over the next 2 weeks, because Comic-Con's a week from Saturday. We're doing this on Thursday, the 27th. We've got 2 weeks of people saying shit like this and people continuing to be like, the cycle is, it's going to influence people who are already on the fucking fence about being upset. They're going to see this and be like, yeah, I'm pissed too. And it's just going to make one big fucking hate ball. And I'm not here for that. Okay. As hateful as I am, I understand the irony of this coming out of my mouth. I'm hateful as fuck. It's not worth getting mad about, okay, for a couple reasons. One, it hasn't even been really fucking announced yet. This is a rumor from two fucking guys who have like a 50-50 track record on Twitter and have done this shit in the last 2 years to increase their presence and get clicks and have articles like this written about them, okay? So there's no point in getting upset about rumors from those two fucking schlubs. I think Danny getting behind him and saying it's real, like he's like on the Facebook feed in saying this is real. Okay. I think it lends it more credence. There's no point in getting upset about it until it's actually announced. So try to go into it with an open mind. It's new Dragon Ball content, which I have spent the last fucking year without. So I'm ready. Okay. I will watch this show tomorrow. I will be the first person to load it up on a streaming service. Will it be good? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But like, just stop on the preemptive. I'm gonna fucking hate this bullshit. Dragon Ball GT 2.0. Where's Super 2? Motherfucker, every person who says Dragon Ball GT 2.0 is not what we asked for, where's Super Part 2, is probably also the same person who complained constantly every fucking week about how terrible Dragon Ball Super was. So you're the last motherfuckers that I want to hear anything out of your fucking cocksucking mouths. Got it? Put the dick back in. Nobody cares what you have to say about it. Just go in with an open mind. Don't hate to hate. Don't hate because you don't have any fucking social media content to post for the week. Go fucking find something else. Let's just see what happens. Okay, that's my PSA. Shut the fuck up and see what happens. It literally has not even been announced. And I have comicbookmovie.com running around talking about how the fandom's so hateful and they're going to hate it for this recently announced anime. Hasn't even been announced. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You guys are getting bent out of shape about a rumor. So that's all I want to say before we wrap. You got anything before we go?
No, not really.
I think I covered it all. I just talked a lot.
Yeah, we basically covered it all.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. That's all I can do.
For real. Imagine if we get to October 12th and they're like, hey guys, here's a preview for Tenkaichi Budokai 4, and we never hear about Dragon Ball Magic. Can you imagine? I don't think that'll happen. I hate giving any kind of credence to these fucking schlubs, but I honestly, I'd probably prefer that. I would prefer that we get to October 12th. There's no new anime announced at all. Just like every fucking year for the last 5 years. And instead they're like, hey guys, here's a preview for a video game that's still a year and a half away. And we're going to make a new Dragon Ball movie in 2025. I almost kind of hope that's the announcement just because fuck these two idiots. Either way. Make sure you check out Raysean's feed because we did the 21st and 22nd Budokai. Those have been released already. The 23rd one will be out within the next few weeks, I assume. I don't know. But maybe the 20th.
Out next week.
It'll be out next week, okay. Maybe the 21st Budokai makes its way onto this feed at some point in the next couple months as like a filler episode. I'm trying to get back to making super dope. It's been hard. 2023 has been the most off year of Super Dope ever. I'm hoping for a much different about face, change of pace in 2024. But go check out Raysean's shit in the meantime. You can hear me be positive and excited and pumped up about how much I love OG Dragon Ball versus the current day shit where I talk about how fucking poisonous people are on the internet who are desperate for clicks based off of the word Dragon Ball and how much I want to murder them. All right, Raysean, I love you, buddy. I will talk to you probably next
soon.
Week. Yeah, I mean, we make a lot. This is like our third podcast in like 4 days or something, 5 days.
Yeah, advice.
Yeah. Check out the Advice Pod. That one's back. Rounding out the second season. Probably going for another 6-ish, 8-ish. I don't fucking know. Season 2 will wrap up around Thanksgiving. Okay, that's all you have to know. So go check that stuff out. A lot of good stuff, especially on the YouTube. Lots of fun videos. And thank you for listening to Super Dope. Thanks again to the patrons. If you wanted this episode early, you could have had it if you supported us, just like Mo and Roberto and Dallas and Victor. Also Marcus Woods, David Cheers, Reese, and LBJ, Lil Baby Jaren. Those are our patrons. I just sent them in a weird meter. Stick them with it. Thank you to them. They rule. They already heard this shit on like Wednesday night because they're real. You probably heard this shit later in the week. But thank you for listening. Rate and subscribe to the show if you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Super dope. Da-da-da-da. Oh shit, what do you got? No, you're gonna no, go ahead.
Also, if you guys want a shout out, like next episode on Super Dope Pod or even on my pod, just send us something saying that you shared the link to our advice to 10 people, and we'll shout you out.
Hold up. So we want the listener of Dragon Ball Super Dope to take a link from the Advice Pod episode that we most recently did, share it to 10 new people, and send us proof of them sending it to 10 new people. And then we'll shout them out on this show and be like, that dude is the realest. That's what you're saying?
Yep.
All right. I bet you maybe Victor does it. Maybe.
Well, if anybody do it, that's a free shout out for you guys. Hopefully.
Are you doing this because I freaked out the other night when we recorded the episode on Monday?
No, I just thought about this, but yeah, I guess I did remember that.
Me and Ray and Kelly did an episode the other night where at the end of it, I was like, hey, I know I say this every episode, but review the show, share it with your friends. I'm tired of it being your dirty fucking little secret. Literally share it with your friends. Who the fuck am I making this for just for you? That's how I feel about Super Dope sometimes too. But Advice Pod, like super feel like that. I have people reach out to me every single week. Oh my God, that was so fucking funny. If I don't release one, where's the Advice Pod at? It's Friday. Where's the new one? I've got people do that shit every single week. And then I'm like, sharing that shit with your friends, and they're like, oh, I don't have any friends. Ha ha. I'm like, bitch, you know somebody you can send a link to. I know you do. You've never sent a text message? All right, well, it's time to learn today. And that goes double for you super dopers. If you ain't sharing that Advice Pod, what the fuck have we been doing together for the last 6 years? Actually, I took most of the month of August off. It's September 27th. Air date for Super Dope, August 13th, 2017. Happy 6-year anniversary, 6 weeks late. This is our 6th-year anniversary show now as well. And we'll see you next time. Raysean has the good tunes every time.
Bang.
You do have good tunes, dude. Actually, I did 2 Advice episodes yesterday. I edited 2 back to back. And there's a couple moments where you and I just like bust into song for no reason at all. And even though we got like the delay on like the video audio conference shit that we use, StreamYard is what we use, we still always click in, man. Like it's like we rehearsed it, like Boys to Men. But we're not Boys to Men, we're just us.
I mean, similar vibes, man. It is. That's how it works.
And that's why we're the best friends in the world. All right, goodbye. Super dope.